The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Cash transfer company MoneyGram International has made a strategic minority investment in cryptocurrency cash exchange Coinme, giving MoneyGram a 4% ownership stake. Last May, MoneyGram said it would allow customers to buy and sell Bitcoin for cash at 12,000 U.S. retail locations through a partnership with Coinme. Joining us now to discuss is Alexander Holmes, CEO of MoneyGram, and Neil Bergquist, CEO of Coinme. Hello, Alexander and Neil. Good morning. So, Alexander, MoneyGram has a strategic partnership with Coinme. What made you double down and go from a partnership to having an ownership stake now in Coinme?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me this morning, and it's good to see you again. First and foremost, it's been a great several months working with Neil and his team. I think what they've tried to do to really come at the crypto market a little bit differently from everybody else, really taking it more mainstream for as many consumers as possible by pushing the initiative through initially with Coinstar and then partnering with MoneyGram. To me, really aligns just completely along with our strategy in terms of how we help consumers around the world access financial services more dynamically. And so for us, the partnership was great. I love Neil and his team. They were doing an amazing job. And to be able to invest in his company in early stage and really think about what that can mean for us from a longer term partnership means a lot to us. We're excited about that. And we're certainly proud to be a part of his organization and really along for the ride.
So Neil, what did you give up to MoneyGram? What did you? It was 4%, but what else are they? What are they going to get for it?
Oh, it's a win-win. MoneyGram spent the last 80 years building out global infrastructure for moving money, and building on our partnership, we're able to further leverage that infrastructure for interoperability with crypto. And the investment enables us to continue what we've been doing, but go faster and look at additional markets as well. So it's a really exciting time.
So
we have a map up. Go ahead, Lawrence.
I love this map. So I see it.
Let's check out the map. All right. So we have a map of locations of Coinstar, which belongs to Coinme, MoneyGram, across the United States. And I'm wondering, what's the strategy of where you're placing the kiosks, and where are you planning to scale? Any plans to go outside the U.S.?
So placing kiosks, I think 7 years ago was much more precise. Now it's wherever there's a location that can be crypto enabled, we'll crypto enable it. We now have a location located within 5 miles for the majority of the American population. We're close to being on par with the number of ATMs that Bank of America or JP Morgan Chase have. We now have crypto locations for cash to crypto, crypto to cash. So we've really hit that scale in the United States, which is really exciting. In terms of expansion, MoneyGram has a lot of customers and volumes in Latin America in terms of cross-border remittances in the EU. And really, with MoneyGram Online, there's almost about 40 countries that they service. So they definitely set the bar high, and that is exciting for us to give us a clear roadmap as we look at expanding outside the United States.
And I wonder, who do you see buying Bitcoin? Is it folks going into CVS and, buying some shampoo and then buying up some Bitcoin? Like, what are they using it for? Are they using it for payments or remittances?
Yeah, they go to CVS and get their Xanax prescription after look at the inflation rate and then buy some Bitcoin. It's been the flow recently. There's a lot of people that buy Bitcoin for different reasons. There's people that buy it as a store of value and speculate on the price. There's people that use it as a hedge against inflation. There's people that are buying it and using it as a medium of exchange or paying for goods and services. So we really do service a lot of different personas. One of the key advantages is instant liquidity. So if you're buying with cash, you get instant access to your Bitcoin. So it's yours. You can do what you want with it. Whereas if you buy on online exchanges with a bank transfer, there can be a lockup for a period of time because of the risk of fraud and chargeback. So, you have people that have, exchange accounts using the service because it's a great way to get instant custody as well.
Well, I mean, look, if MoneyGram's putting money with you guys, it sounds like there's significant amount of volume. But how much volume are we talking here? I mean, what are we looking at, and in terms of the relationship with MoneyGram itself?
Yeah, I'd say overall the volumes aren't where they could be. We have been growing at about 35% month over month, which is great since launching the initial partnership in May. So definitely a lot more upside. I think we're still in the process of even just building market awareness and making the consumers aware that this service even exists.
Alexander, I'm wondering what was the demand for this on MoneyGram's side, and who do you see buying Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's a lot going on in the market, and it's pretty dynamic. I think Neil hit on a lot of the key points around different consumer demographics. But certainly there's a strong correlation between remittance users and interest and desire to be more active in the crypto space. I think about 51% of consumers that are currently part of the remittance process are interested in participating further in crypto, which is great. I think something in the neighborhood of $45 billion went from the U.S. to Mexico last year, and the estimates are about $2 billion has now gone in Bitcoin. When those consumers are asked, are you replacing your remittance with a Bitcoin transaction? The answer is no. Actually, they're supplementing and sending the Bitcoin in an attempt to increase savings capabilities and diversify their portfolios. And in some respects, many of our consumers feel left out of the traditional financial markets, right? Getting bank accounts, getting brokerage accounts can be complicated. It's costly. And so, to be able to bring that access more mainstream, to give consumers the ability to load and unload through cash, which is something that they're very used to doing, is pretty remarkable and a really unique position to be in. I think when we last spoke on the show, we were talking about our integration with Stellar, and that's really about creating more ubiquity, really creating that interoperability between fiat and crypto. And I think that's a really strong position that MoneyGram is in right now, where we have that actual ability to bridge, this sort of digital asset world back to fiat. And I think that that's an important aspect of many consumers. I think globally, the statistics would still say that, 85% or so of people have heard of crypto or Bitcoin, but yet, only about 16% or so actively participate in the markets. And so how do you bridge that gap? How do you make it more accessible? How do you change that? I think MoneyGram has a huge role to play, though, for us, being able to offer that service side by side to create more interoperability is exciting for us. And I think, what Neil is doing is certainly pioneering and innovative in that sense, right? It's the first real exchange that's actually trying to push that cash agenda more down to the people. So I think it's great, and for us, as Neil said, to be able to expand that to new markets, to take that overseas and create that interoperability is going to be a lot of fun, and we're definitely looking forward to doing that.
So one of the places that of course is drawing a lot of attention outside the United States, of course, is El Salvador. When we talk about remittances, and we talk about the use of cryptocurrencies. What's going on with your experience there in El Salvador? I understand there's some issues there, but what also is your view of what's going on over the past several months with the country adopting one particular cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, as a form of legal tender? Does that change how you guys deal with El Salvador at all, or your outlook? And do you think that you could expect that elsewhere, or maybe perhaps more favorable approaches from other countries? And if so, which ones?
Yeah, I don't live in El Salvador, right? So it's hard for me to sort of relay what's exactly happening, on the ground. Obviously, there's a lot of news and information coming out of the country that would suggest that, so far the experiment with Bitcoin and trying to bring it mainstream has a lot of bumps and challenges with it. I would also, say that, it's not, yet mainstream in the markets. I think it's, fairly exciting around what they are trying to do, yet obviously with bumps and bruises, and there's a long way to go in terms of creating the ability to really use Bitcoin more directly in the traditional fiat world and in the traditional retail markets. That being said, I think what's so compelling about the opportunity is to really think differently about what fiat currency really is, and what's really the difference between fiat and crypto in that sense. And so, for us, again, we move money all over the world in 120 plus currencies, and to add crypto to that agenda really isn't that complicated, and in fact I think is pretty unique. And so I start to think about it in the sense of consumers want to send money back to El Salvador. They send typically US dollars. They're paid out in US dollars, and it's a very inexpensive transaction for them. So our volumes have been very strong to El Salvador and continue to be so. But yet, as consumers, want to look toward alternative forms of investment, they want to look toward Bitcoin and other currencies. I think it's exciting, opportunity to say, hey, why not, buy that crypto here and send it home rather than sending money and then trying to buy crypto outside. So I think, that again, that interoperability and that opportunity to think very differently about what value and assets are really about, what crypto is really about, and what fiat is about, and how to create that balance, I think is interesting. So as we look around the world, clearly more and more consumers are coming into cryptocurrencies. The interest in it continues to go up. There's more and more opportunities to actively think about crypto from an application perspective. So I think it's important that we continue to be innovative, think about how we can evolve the MoneyGram service and really bring cryptocurrencies to the consumers around the world as they need it, and then the ability to exchange that back into fiat real time, and that's important. I think Neil touched on that earlier, right? The ability to go to the Coinbase, it's slow. It can be clunky when you're trying to convert back to fiat. You go to Coinme, you walk to CVS, you can get your cash instantly. So it's very different.
Just one last question. How does the infrastructure bill recently passed in Congress affect your operations? Do you have to know your customer information at the kiosk in terms of privacy? What kind of customer info do you have to capture, if any?
Yeah, great question. I'll start, and then Neil can talk about it on his end. But for us, we've been leading in KYC collection processes. We collect ID at the point of sale, name, address, date of birth, etc. So we feel very good about our KYC processes, and then we're actually doubling that with what Neil's already doing in terms of registration on the Coinme app. So it's pretty exciting how we're kind of balancing the two. So Neil, if you want to pick up on your end.
Yeah, very similar. So we obviously have an AML program, and as part of that, we collect document verification, selfie, do sanction screening, and a myriad of other things. So we already do KYC on all of our customers at $1. The infrastructure bill is more on the tax reporting, which involves more social security numbers for liquidations. So that'll be something that we'll need to implement and be in compliance with.